I got the horse right here, the name is Paul Revere, and he's the guy that said it's all weather's clear. Can do. This guy says the horse can do. Two.
I love this song from Guys and Dolls.
From Sandwich Time? No, from Guys and Dolls.
So, I don't remember Guys and Dolls having anything to do with sandwiches.
Really?
No.
Well, there's a big bet that Sky and the other guy,
Nathan?
Sky and Nathan have about Lindy's Deli. Who can sell, how much cheesecake do they sell?
Cheesecake.
But you know what else they sell at delis?
Pickles.
Yes. And?
Radishes?
Yes. And spaghetti sandwiches.
Oh, my dad would love that.
You would. No, there's not a ton of musicals about sandwiches, but
that's true.
Guys and Dolls does feature Lindy's Deli, which is, well, they call it Mindy's in the show, but it's Lindy's.
Really Lindy's.
And so I thought, and you can't beat Damon Runyon.
You can't.
And tell him your joke from earlier. What kind of dip do you need to make at your next party, Kevin?
Runyon onion dip.
Doesn't that sound good?
Be great for all those cast parties out there.
And there's other famous delis in New York. There's Carnegie Deli and Katz. Where you get the sandwiches that are this big, and there's Stage Door. Yeah. So, kind of fits into our New York.
Yeah. Now, we saw a movie the other night, Ferris Bueller's Day Off. And one of our friends, Lynn, who comments quite often on our chat here, said, you're making sandwiches. There's nothing to do in Sandwich World. No, that's really not true.
We beg to differ.
You notice Lynn's not with us tonight to show us how easy it is to make sandwiches. There are a lot of components to go into this. I'm going to make a California chicken sandwich tonight.
And what do you make? I'm going to make a Monte Cristo sandwich. It's kind of a decadent sandwich for special occasions, I think.
So I'm going to start with a mayonnaise aioli that I'm going to put on my sandwich. And tonight we thought we'd teach you some few techniques, which I think will be helpful in your other cooking.
I'm just going to, before you jump right into the aioli, I may be coming around to adjust the camera angle because shout out to our fabulous cameraman, Chris, is actually on call tonight and got called in. So... And where is our intern?
And what is Chris working on at work?
Those of you that know Chris, he's a GI doctor, and ironically enough, he got called in for a food impaction. People, chew your food.
Please chew.
I can't say it more plainly than that. Chew your food.
It's a public service announcement from Sing for Yourself.
Don't end up like the poor person Chris is dealing with at the hospital.
All right.
Okay, and that's a nice segue into a smooth thing that will just roll down your throat, aioli.
So I like to use mayonnaise on this sandwich, but I want to spice it up a little bit. So we're going to spice up the mayonnaise. So we've got about a cup of really good mayonnaise, as Ina says. Good mayonnaise.
So what would constitute really good mayonnaise? Are they Hellmann's, or is it even like...
Anything that doesn't have the word miracle in it.
So you might get in trouble at your job. They probably want you to use the mayonnaise that has miracle in it.
Maybe.
But it's not really good mayonnaise.
Yeah, Jesus didn't turn the wine into mayonnaise. That's a different thing. All right, so we're going to start with the zest of a lemon. And the reason I use the lemon zest is to brighten it up. And I don't use the lemon juice because I think it thins it out too much.
So what you're saying is the lemon zest are like jazz hands.
Yes, just a little bit.
Just a little zing, a little zest.
So we have a little grater here that we're going to use, a zester. We're just going to zest. You only want to zest the yellow part. See how it gets white underneath? You just want to do the yellow part.
Just the yellow, or
it gets
very bitter.
Very bitter. And you don't need a lot. All we're trying to do is brighten it up a little bit. And what do I mean by brighten it up, Barb?
Well, I think you would mean adding a little acid to it, giving it, mayonnaise is the eggs, and it's kind of rich, and it needs the acid to kind of balance it out. Exactly. That's what I think.
That's exactly right.
Is that correct?
That's exactly right.
Well, thank you, Chef.
And the other thing about zesting a lemon,
it smells so good.
If you're going to use the juice of the lemon, you always zest before you juice the lemon.
Zest first, juice later.
Yes, and why is that? Because it will be deflated if you do it that way. All right, so we've got our lemon zest in there. We're going to do 1 or 2 cloves of garlic, depending on our taste. These are kind of small, so we're going to use 2. Now, these have not been prepared at all because I wanted to show you how to do that. So let me get a big head of garlic out here for you. So garlic, if you don't work with garlic often, comes in a big head like this. And what you do is you take the little cloves off of it, and then you have to prepare them to go on your whatever you're making. So what I do is I take the knife and I just push down on it because there's a coating on it. Just like that. And it breaks it open.
A nice little crunch if you couldn't hear that.
And then you just take the skin right off of it. And there it is.
And I have a tool. It's just a little rubber tube.
Mm-hmm.
And I can put my garlic heads in there and you roll it and it takes those skins off. So there's different ways to. Yeah. There's more than one way to skin a cat / garlic.
Yes, exactly. So, all right, put that there. And then we're just going to dice it up, give it a nice chop.
Look how professional you look.
Well, yeah. And you don't want big pieces.
No.
You definitely do not want big pieces.
Not in an aioli.
You don't want somebody to bite down on a big piece of garlic.
You really have to get it minced.
Yeah. So.
Now, could you use the magic garlic out of the
Absolutely.
jar?
I know you love that. But
well,
I really like the flavor of the...
I like them both. I was just giving our audience
You try to work that jar.
We still need a sponsor. It could be the magic garlic.
That's right.
There, that's nicely minced.
Or we could use the miracle garlic since we're not using it.
Miracle and the magic. Well, maybe they'll be our sponsor. No, we said they weren't good enough.
Yeah. They're not going to be our sponsor. All right, so we've got the garlic in there. We're going to put just a pinch of salt and pepper. That's what I call a pinch. And then one last ingredient, we're going to put fresh basil.
Oh.
Don't use a canned or bottled.
Dry,
thank you. Use fresh.
Sounds
like runyon onion.
Runyon onion.
All right, so we stack our leaves up here just like that, and then we're going to roll them up.
This all smells fabulous.
Yeah,
the garlic, the lemon, the basil.
And we're going to slice it. And
if all this had been on that spaghetti sandwich, it might have tasted good. That's all I'm saying.
All right, so we chop them up, and it makes little ribbons. And then I'm going to turn the ribbons to the side and dice them one more time.
What's this technique called?
It's called chiffonade.
Oh, fancy.
Chiffonade, yes.
Chiffonade. Because you really don't want to bite into a giant hunk of basil either. If
you're cooking dinner for people that don't know anything about cooking, you can throw the word chiffonade. I just chiffonaded it. I chiffonaded it tonight. They'll never know. It can work with dessert too.
It looks great.
Yeah.
It looks great.
And that's pretty much it.
Oh, it smells great. I love the smell of basil.
I'm going to mix this up. I'm going to give you that little spoon there. And I'm going to let you taste
it.
I think it tastes better if it's really, really cold. So that's why we're making this first. Get an idea of the taste. We're going to put it in the refrigerator until we're ready to assemble the sandwich.
Let it chill.
Yep. There you go. See what you think.
Yep, the lemon really does brighten it. Just kind of pops. I guess maybe that's the way of putting it. When it has acid or has that lemon, it just kind of pops in your mouth. The garlic's coming through. That is a great way to like zazz up.
Yeah, it brightens it up.
Make it zazzy. Okay, well then I'm going to talk about my sandwich a little bit. So Monte Cristo is kind of a glorified grilled cheese and ham. But what makes it so good is you dip it in an egg batter before you cook it. So I'm just going to right now prepare the eggs. And my recipe is really just the eggs. So it's kind of like you're making scrambled eggs, which is very simple.
Now, do you use milk or cream in your eggs when you scramble them?
I do.
I do too.
I think, I'm just going to throw this out there, I think you could put a little cream in here or a little whole milk if you wanted. But, you know, this particular recipe does not call for that. So it does call for a little dash of salt and pepper. Nice. And then I'm just going to see my eggs.
Yes.
And you want to do this in a big enough bowl or pan, or at least transfer it then so that your entire sandwich will go in there and you can coat it. So you don't want it in a little bowl. You want to make sure it's something you can lay your sandwich out eventually. I'm just going to beat that up.
It's just like scrambled eggs.
It does. And that's exactly how it's supposed to look. That is step 1 of the Monte Cristo. Super easy.
Experience. The Monte Cristo experience.
Yeah, and you know, while you're getting ready to do your next thing, we try to tie things into theater, but I did find a show called The Count of Monte Cristo based on the fabulous story by Frank Wildhorn. Many of you probably know. He's wrote Jekyll and Hyde and Scarlet Pimpernel and others. This clearly was not a big hit for Frank. From everything I could find, it was a concept album. Oh. They did it once at a high school and one kind of semi-professional. So we're not going to talk much about it because there's not a lot of info out there.
What you're saying are the rights are pretty cheap.
I think they're available. Could be the first show of 2021 for many theater companies. But that's our big time for this. So now,
all right,
I'm gonna turn it over to you.
Let me get our dredging station.
I'm just going to set this aside. Kevin's going to bring his dredging station over, and I'm going to trade him out.
Remember last week we did dredging for what? Do you remember, Barb, what we did for him?
Oh! It was a salad, yes. And it was your Chinese. Lynn Reddick's favorite salad in the world, Chinese chicken salad.
Yes, and we did goat cheese croutons. Yeah, and those were really good.
Those were so good.
So this is a typical dredging station.
I love your dredging station.
Thank you. Maybe if I get on a Gordon Ramsay show, I can be at the dredging station.
It's just so organized.
So we have flour, and I've got 2 eggs that I have beaten as well. I'm going to pour them in the middle, and then I've got some Italian breadcrumbs here, which is really great. And then I have 2 chicken breasts. Now, what do you notice about those chicken breasts, Barb?
They are thin.
Very thin.
Very thin. Thinner.
Because remember, these are going to be on the sandwich, so we don't want them to be really thick.
May I say a big thank you? I hate ordering a sandwich at a restaurant that's a chicken of some sort.
Yes.
And they haven't sliced the breast thinly enough. And you just can't really eat it.
I agree. Would you pass the salt and pepper? I totally agree. That's why you can actually buy them in the store. That's what I do.
Oh, can you? Now, I will always just buy the breast and slice them in half. Yeah. But I would say that's really almost a third.
This is about a third of the breast.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Depends on the breast.
It depends on the breast. All right. So we put them in the flour first, and we're going to salt and pepper both sides.
After it's in the flour, you're salting and peppering. Okay.
And then I'm going to flip it over. I'm going to salt and pepper again.
Generously.
And I use 1 hand for salt, 1 hand for pepper, and the other hand for salt.
Well, and last week you talked about once it gets messy, you'll keep 1 hand clean. Yep. 1 hand's going to get.
Thanks for reminding me of that.
In the egg and the breadcrumbs, or it can kind of turn into a mess.
Yeah. So we start with the flour. And then after the flour, we put it in the egg mixture. Now, if you're going to fry it like fried chicken, you'd go back into the flour. But we're going to do it with the breadcrumbs.
And why is that?
I think the spicy breadcrumbs give it another level of flavor.
But if you were just going to fry it, then you go back to the flour?
Because we want as much of the crispy crust, not skin, but
gives it more
coating.
Layers. Okay.
All right, I'm going to lay this on your cutting board. We're going to do one more. You want to do the other one?
No, I'm not because when you're frying them, I don't keep my hands clean.
Okay.
But I'm going to get a new cutting board since this had chicken on it.
Yep.
Down here.
Second one.
There we go. Not going to be green. Okay.
You can do this dredging with shrimp or whatever you want to use it.
And that's just regular flour?
Just regular flour.
Because sometimes I have used a rice flour, which is very fine and seems to work nicely too.
Well, the other thing I found out is that you can do these chicken breasts in the air fryer, which is really nice. A little bit of the calorie. But I made these yesterday for a friend, and he said, "Did you use the air fryer or did you fry them in the oil?" And I said, "I'm a Southern boy. What do you think I did?"
Like Paula Deen, you start with a stick of butter.
You start. Every recipe starts with a stick of butter. All right.
Those look beautiful.
Yeah, so we're all set to go. Now I've got my oil behind me heating up.
nice cast iron skillet.
Yes.
You can see.
And we don't want the oil to be too hot, so it's a little bit less than medium.
Okay.
And I'm going to fry these up about 2 minutes on the side. And while I do that, why don't you take care of your next step?
Okay, I'm going to trade this out. Put this in here. So we're back to talking about the Monte Cristo. You know, a Monte Cristo really, as I said, it's kind of an elevated grilled ham and cheese. But the thing that I think elevates it, a couple of things. You want some really good bread. You can make your own bread, or you can buy, I bought some nice buttermilk country. It's kind of thick. It's a good size. I had them thickly cut the smoked ham. Doesn't that look good?
Oh, that looks great.
You use the Gruyere cheese. Such a good cheese. So yummy.
It's good on mac and cheese. Gruyere is good.
Oh, yeah. Melts nicely. I'm going to get our salt and pepper out of the way here. So to assemble it, pretty simple. I'm going to...
You make a Carnegie deli one with all that?
All that. Hey, Dad would. Yeah. So, okay. Actually, I'm going to get my pan. Can you turn my pan on?
Uh-huh.
Okay. This is kind of medium, kind of like yours. So we're going to start with the nice ham, nice thick slices. And I guess, you know, if you really, I like one piece of ham. Some people would like two. I'm going to make
I think two works.
And I'm going to put 2 on each of them.
Tell me about the ham.
The ham, well, it's from my local grocery store. It's the Kirschmeyer, I think it's called.
Ooh,
and it was they're just on the bone, off the bone ham. Had the man at the deli cut it nice and thick.
It's nice.
And then the Gruyere. And the nice
thin ham. No, thick ham.
Thick ham.
Then chicken.
Then chicken.
So you're learning lots of things.
Covering all of the body parts.
Yes.
And then I'm just going to nicely layer my cheese here. Okay. Okay. Now, normally, if you, oh, sorry, I forgot. And then I have my lovely, I've made this up. So this is a mixture, kind of like Kevin's Fancy Aioli. So I've taken whole grain Dijon, 2 tablespoons of that, 2 tablespoons of good mayonnaise. Not just okay mayonnaise, good mayonnaise.
Nothing says miracle on it.
There was no miracle. Actually, this is an olive oil mayonnaise that I really like. And I'm going to put that on the inside.
Speaking of different kinds of mayonnaises, I was at the grocery store today and saw a vegan mayonnaise. Have you ever seen vegan mayonnaise? I know, Rachel, you know all about vegan mayonnaise.
No, so no eggs?
I guess not.
Well, if anybody's out there, they could tell us, what would you substitute? Because I know egg yolks are pretty important in mayonnaise. So you can see I'm being generous with this. And if you have a special, if you like it spicy, kind of have leeway to put whatever you want on there. Put that on one side.
That's beautiful.
Isn't that pretty? I love that whole grain Dijon.
Oh, I do too.
So yummy. Okay, there we go. So I've got my layers. I've got my ham, my cheese, my Dijon mayonnaise there. And the great thing about this, you're going to compress it a little. Okay, and then right over here, I have my egg yolks from earlier. How is your chicken doing? Are you close? Okay. Ooh, crispy. Okay, so I'm now going to dip the entire sandwich. And you said you had some tongs I could use.
I do, and I'm using
He's using it. Sure?
Yep.
Okay.
All right. Oh.
Okay, thanks. Okay, so I'm going to set it in. Let that egg yolk soak in. Use the tongs. What's it?
That's kind of like French toast.
It is. Exactly. Want that egg yolk to get soaked in. There we go. So you're going to see it when I pull it out, that it's all soaked in.
Okay. The butter's melted.
Great. I'm going to put one sandwich in.
All right. And on the way. My chicken's going to
Okay. Great. I'm going to do the other one. I'm going to put a little more butter in my skillet. Don't let anything stick. Second one's going in. And then while I'm cooking my sandwiches, Kevin is going to assemble this.
That looks great.
Yeah. Then we're going to talk about the super special ingredient for Monte Cristo.
Yes.
When it's all cooked. Okay.
Is it the Monte or the Cristo?
Sure. Okay, I'm going to pass it over to you.
All right. So here are our beautiful chicken breasts that we have fried up. I'm going to drain just a little bit. I've got my buns in the oven.
Are your buns getting toasted, Kevin?
I hope so. I'm going to get my aioli out of the refrigerator.
Nicely chilled now.
Yes.
Okay, and I'm going to move some of this out of the way for you.
Okay. I'm going to move this forward. And I'm going to bring our condiments over.
All right.
We've got some bread and butter pickles here. Bread and butter pickles are sweet pickles. These are ones that my mother made. They're beautiful.
Are they?
Yep. And they're so yes, please do.
I love bread and butter pickles.
I do too.
Love them.
I asked my mother, I said, will you show me how to make bread and butter pickles? She goes, it's just easier if I make them and give them to you.
Patsy, if you want to send me some,
She will.
those are fantastic.
And the last thing we have is
my favorite food.
Avocado from Barb's
Local grocery store.
You didn't get this one out of the yard like last week?
Last week? No.
Let me get our knife here. I'm going to show you how to prepare the avocado for those of you who haven't done it before. As you know, probably know there's a huge seed in it, so we have to cut around the seed. So we cut lengthwise through the avocado and around, and you just let it follow around like such. And when it meets, you take it and you twist it. You hear that pop twist.
But you know, before you open that, can you put it back together?
Sorry.
Sure. No, we learned this at a cooking class we took together. If you want to know if an avocado is ripe or good, it has this little, where the stem was. You can pop it off. And if it's green underneath, bright green, you know it's ripe and fresh. If you pop that off and it's black or brown, not a good avocado.
So you didn't pop this off before you brought it. So how did you know it was right?
I get like the Charmin. I gave a little squeeze. I bought a lot of avocados. I had a sense that this was a good one.
All right.
And my sense paid off.
So
check my sandwich.
We're back to where we were before we were interrupted. All right. So
I think you mean before we learned something valuable.
That's true. All right. So we open it up and the seed is in the middle. Now, we could try to claw the seed out of that, which is very hard to do. So what you do is you take your knife and give a nice little whack, and then you turn just slightly and the seed comes right out. And throw away the seed.
And if you try to do it, there's something that the ER doctors call avocado hands.
Oh, really?
That people who take the knife and try to dig it out.
Oh, you don't want to do it.
It's quite, it happens frequently, so be careful.
It's just so much easier to do.
Always be careful.
Now, I want to use slices of the avocado on my sandwich, so I'm going to go ahead and slice it inside the skin before I pull it out. Now, be careful. Your sharp knife doesn't go through the skin, because if it goes through the skin, it's going to go into your skin, and you don't want that to happen.
I don't want that.
So I'm saying about a 1/4 inch thick on these slices. So we do each one. Would you get my bread out of the
Yes, sir.
toaster oven, please?
Yes,
All right. Yeah, we might need that. There you go. Yours is smelling very, very good. All right. Then we take a spoon and we
Your buns are nicely toasted.
take the spoon and lightly score. Yeah. Lightly score around the edge. And it should just pop right out. I'm going to put it on the cutting board here. And there it goes. Comes right out.
Oh, that's beautiful. Is there anything
one.
better than a really good, perfectly ripe avocado?
Nothing.
And it's a superfood.
It is a superfood.
It's good for you.
Yeah. Now, if you did not want the mayonnaise aioli on your,
Who wouldn't want
I
that?
don't know, but if you didn't, you could mash up the avocado and put it on like mayonnaise. All right. We have it like this. Thank you. All right, so we're going to put our bun. I'm using an onion bun. Not an onion bun.
A Damon Runyon onion bun?
No, a pretzel bun.
I got the bun right here. His name is Paul Riffy.
So to build the sandwich, we're going to start with our aioli. I'm going to use a spoon because I want a lot of it here. A glot on each side. We're going to put our chicken on. Lovely. We're going to put a piece of cheese. I'm using pepper jack cheese because I like that little spice that it gives. Piece of pepper jack cheese. We're going to put some red onion on.
I love some red onion.
I do too.
It's a love-hate relationship with people.
Red onion. How about a couple pieces of bacon?
How about a couple pieces of bacon?
How about, I think I can get 3 on it. What do you think?
I like an overachiever when it comes to bacon.
And then we put our lovely
Oh!
Would you salt my, it's turned off. Can you salt my avocado for me? Just a little.
I would love to salt your avocado. Just a little.
And then the crowning glory on it is the bread and butter pickle.
Oh my gosh. You have a lot of sweet and savory going on because the bread and butters are a little sweet. The aioli's got that nice brightness to it. The avocado is soft. The onion is crunchy. Oh my gosh.
And there you are.
That is beautiful. And look, okay, so here, we're going to move this out of the way. My Monte Cristos are finished.
Oh, wonderful.
So I'm just going to show you. See how pretty? They do look like French toast. And, you know, we're talking about sweet and savory.
Yes.
So if you've ever ordered this at a restaurant, typically it comes with a little side of raspberry jelly.
Is that the secret ingredient?
And you dip the sandwich in. You've got the sweet. You've got the savory with the ham, the melty cheese, the Dijon.
I don't believe I've ever tasted a Monte Cristo. Let me taste your Monte Cristo.
You know, we were going to talk about where it came from.
Okay,
that it was,
let's talk about that. I'll cut this chicken.
We'll have to try them. It came from, I think, the croque monsieur, which is just kind of a ham and cheese melted. But, of course, they took it one step farther and did the breading with it, which I think is beautiful. And somewhere along the line, this raspberry jelly came along, which is ooh.
I'm going to eat this.
I think you better. I think you better.
All right.
Oh my gosh, the time continues to fly.
Oh my gosh.
It is 7:28. I can't believe how quickly our Sing for Your Supper always goes.
Well, let's try these.
Let's try it. Okay.
All right, so I just dip that in there?
Yeah. Yes.
Go
for it. That's your half.
Okay.
Do the other half. We're going to do half and half.
All right.
You know, if you're having, just want to spice up a little lunch.
Oh, that was so good.
Good.
The ham is delicious. The cheese is just barely melted enough to bind everything together. You get the nice, like French toast kind of taste on the outside. And then the sweetness of the jam just makes it fantastic.
Good. All right, I'm going to try yours. I never can get my mouth open this big. Here we go. Avert your eyes, everyone. Mmm. Mmm. There's a lot going on.
There is a lot going on.
I'm really getting the aioli and the lemon. The creamy avocado. Chicken breast. Perfect.
Look at showing this how see the size of the breast.
The size of the breast
is perfect.
It is. And you can taste everything, and there's not too much breading. This is a great sandwich. two kind of ways to do a fun lunch
Exactly.
in the summertime. This is great.
Yeah.
Sandwiches are not as simple as they appear.
They can be, but who wants to just throw peanut butter and jelly on bread when you can do this pretty easily in less than 30 minutes?
Elevate it a little bit.
2 sandwiches in less than 30 minutes. Yeah. Well, we thank you all for coming tonight and being with us. We hope you enjoyed making sandwiches with us.
Yes, I hope you will post recipes, and we hope you join us again next week.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Bye.